I'm thinking I need to put notifications out when I go live or have some kind of notifications going out for when I'm going to be going live. Yeah, that's probably what I have to do. It's noon, a little bit at 5 after 12 on March 11th, and it's a Tuesday, 2025. And yeah, it's been one of those mornings where I've been doing some recordings for my 21-day journey and also doing some astrology and a little bit of my learning on astrology. There's just always so much to learn with astrology. Not sure how many people are going to join me, but I'm hoping that many of you will watch the replay. So, um, we're heading into a huge week, and a week that is really going to bring in a lot of transformation and changes this year. This week for our lives. I feel there's so many alignments that are coming, that are right now, that are getting us to release and let go of what no longer serves us, right? And this week is a spiritual week. Now, I I've been sent many different people sending me, oh, look at this and look at this and look at this, and about timelines and everything. And yeah, timelines are shifting. Yes, things are moving, but I feel it's higher. It's more than what people actually realize. I mean, we had a Saturn sextile Uranus in 2021. Hello, Charlene. And it was that was, in 2021, this shattered reality, the ceilings falling down. And now we have this Saturn and Uranus. This is which is going to be lasting till 2025 in coming forth. And this is where I feel it's where in from 2020 to 2023, this 2.5 to 3 years where Saturn was in, Capricorn and Aquarius, was almost like we just going to the cliff. And now it's where he's in Pisces. He's like going to be pushing us over the cliff. Just here you go. And we have this eclipse. This eclipse is over the Americas. This eclipse is over Canada, the United States, and South America. So there is dramatic, and I'm emphasizing dramatic change that is coming forth. This is where, and especially with Mercury stationary going to be going retrograde just after, like about a day after this eclipse that is coming in. This is all to do with our mental state, our soul, our ego battle of how we are wanting to hang on. So if there's something that you are truly hanging on to, let it go. Honestly, I mean, we have a lot of energy with this soul and ego battle, is Aries and Pisces and things ending and beginning that are coming in. And Neptune and Venus coming in with this connection of wanting to get information. Neptune wants to get information, wants to help her. She's in detriment. He doesn't mind Aries. It's fast, it's moving, it belongs to Mars, he's okay. But Venus is sort of like, I can't get what I need. I'm trying to give you the information, and Mercury's trying to get the information. And it's this where they're trying to connect, and they're in Mars's temple, Aries, and talking, and we need to pay attention. And sometimes it's going to be very difficult to receive the information that is needed. That's why don't hang on to anything that is going on in the news right now. The media, the propaganda, the stock market, the currencies, anything that like that. Don't worry about who our prime minister is right now. I hate to say that. Just let it go and let God. And that's why for many of you, I've been saying, I really don't care. I don't. It's like there's this higher purpose, this higher energy that's coming forth, that is going to bring in a lot of vulnerability for us and sensitivity, and it's heavy. This is heavy shit. We have all of this energy coming together from Pisces side and Aries side, and it's like it's coming together like to one point, accumulating at one point. Some are moving faster than others, yes, but this is where Saturn is going to be finishing off Pisces, and there's going to be a 4-month shift later on this year. So there's an oddity. So we got to start keeping things basic. Things that are not flowing, let them go, because your soul is changing. It's rising. One of the reasons I'm doing my 21-day divine journey is getting people to get into a soulful practice. One of the questions I'm going to ask many of them, I just finished recording a couple of days. I think I'm up to day 19 right now. If they want to continue in some capacity over the next several months, because I can do several more recordings and send them out and continue the journey of prayer if that is what is needed, or if it helps them, you know. But this is where you got to work with communications, your values, money, those types of things. If that's what's really you're hanging on to, nobody knows what the currency is going to be, right? And the only thing that is constant, and you got to look where Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is this world. So what is a constant thing in this world? Gold and silver. It's there. It's always there. It's always been something that people can hang on, that's tangible. So that's what you got to look at. Things like that are tangible. Other things aren't. And those values and morals around all of that is changing dramatically. This is a vulnerability. This is a sensitivity. And things that are not flowing are going to be gone. This is about selfless service and coming into the selfless service. And we're going to start feeling it today because there is no break from this full moon. Usually the moon goes off course or void of course or something. There's no break. I'm going to say from starting on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like I'm going to, Wednesday night, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday, there's not really much of a break from this energy of this total lunar eclipse in Virgo. And Virgo is all about service, so about selfless service. So we're going to start feeling it. A lot of times you can feel these vibrations even before they happen. We're seeing craziness about the stock market crash. It's gone down how many points? And it's like letting this all go. It is a beautiful thing. You have to do your spiritual life. And I've been stressing that for many years. Your spiritual life has to be number one. You have to allow that to guide you. You have to allow the divine, you have to allow God to come into your life and guide you. And it's in the astrology, it's pointing there. It's pointing there and coming in. So don't get attached to what you think money is. Don't get attached to what you think this is going to happen. This is going to be the outcome. Because we don't know. Don't get attached to, oh, well, this is the president and this is the prime minister and this is the king of, it's the rapidness and the change that is going to be happening. It's going to get us all over the place. And a Sun-Saturn conjunction. This is where things are going to get bad. Things are going to get crazy. This is where Pisces, and Neptune being the ruler. Neptune is the only one in the charts that is in his home and is the ruler. And he is watching things go crazy and watching things go chaotic. And this is where, we have Pluto in Aquarius. Well, you're going to see people like bribing people, trying to get people. Like, this is where you're going to find where the government's going to say, well, I can give you this and I can do this for you. And look at what I can do over here. They're going to bribe people. There's going to be a bribing. So there's going to be a lot of fraud that is going to be exposed. A lot of people aren't going to see that right away, and they're going to hang on. They're going to hang on because they want to keep the world a certain way. It's got to stay this way. It's got to stay this way. And it's like hanging on to something. It's like threads that you're hanging on to, and they're dissolving as you're trying to hang on to them. And the only thing that is current is your spiritual life. And even the way some people feel about that is going to be quite interesting. The number of people that are coming out, or the weirdness that I see coming out, is where somebody was mentioning timelines and going back, that you're not going back. Sorry. Akashic records, people wanting to change something within the Akashic records. It's like almost where I feel like that's dissolved. There's something else that we have written that within our next journey that we don't even know about. Matthias, can you go let the cat in, please? Or tell Papa? Um, this is this journey we're on, and where we think that we need to steer this ship, it's like let go of the helm and let God, right? So a lot, I feel, and I'm not going to spend too much time on here today, but there's going to be a lot of dumping and attached of what people need to dump and let go of. I'm going to be coming in more and more each day, and especially as we're getting closer to this lunar eclipse, of don't try to do a massive risk right now, especially when it comes to anything that you think is going to be a constant. It's not. This is like thinking that, oh, Vegas is the true reality. I got Dubai, Vegas, but I also got Dubai. People thinking Dubai is like, oh, it's the greatest thing since the cat's milk, right? All of these, but there is just something there that is falling apart, is changing in some dramatic way, and you can't, you know, define it. And with Venus dispositing where Mars rules, and Mars is in Capricorn, or in Capricorn, in Cancer, and it's just coming off of that 17 degrees. This is where we want to say we want things to come out. We want to have all of this stuff come out, but it's not. Um and a lot of this is also going back to things in like March of 2006. And I was like, holy crap, because the last time with the lunar eclipse in Virgo, and in March and I'm like, holy crap, that is when we packed everything up. That's the week, like Steve was in Grand Prairie. My mother died about a year ago from in 2005. And we sold everything. We sold everything. I mean, every single freaking thing, and came and moved to Calgary. The last place on earth I ever wanted to be. But I picked up all of my kids, picked up everybody. We came in a minivan, towing a little tiny trailer with whatever we had left, because we sold everything, and came and moved to Calgary with basically nothing. We didn't have a hell of a lot. We might have had less than $1,000 in the bank account. And Steve was, because of the thing that happened to him up in Grand Prairie, we had to find something. We can't look at that. That was a fork in the road. And now we're in another fork in the road. We're in a fork in the road that things are going to change in your life forever. It's not going back. If I look at that fork in the road that happened in 2006, my life changed forever. Where I was going, what I was doing, how I was doing, the work I do, changed forever from that moment on. The people I met, the growth that I had, changed everything in my life. And this is where we're at again. But this is, I'm going to say, times it by 100. This isn't like the last time. The other part too, you got to look at what was going on in 2007 to 2017 and the recession and the markets crashing. Now we're coming into something that is deeper. And what's crashing right now? Well, we got the moon opposite Saturn, which is government, in Pisces, where we're seeing huge layoffs when it comes to in the States, where the IRS and the government, changes within the government. What just happened in Canada? We just got a prime minister that we never even elected, who's never been an MP. Changes within our government, changes in how this government is going to be run. Huge dramatic changes. And people are not prepared for it. That's why when people say, oh, well, aren't you worried about Carney? No, I'm not. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about the shit that he's going, because it's where things are moving, and we are like, okay, he could be over here, and we're going off into a different direction if you are taking your spiritual work serious. You're taking your spiritual work serious. I don't care, like WEF, G30, who cares? They're nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like, people are worried, like, oh, WEF, like, who cares? Like, those things are not worth your time right now. They're not worth your time. All of this that's coming out and all the propaganda that's coming out, everything points in the astrology and with this lunar eclipse. And I said from March 17th on, in my predictions, this is where we're going to break through unpredictability. We have Uranus sextiling Saturn, a lunar eclipse, Mercury going retrograde. We have Mars just moving off of the 17-degree mark in Cancer. It doesn't like it. Jupiter doesn't like where he is. And then that as Mars is moving off, he's going to square over to Chiron. And this is where the biggest death, the reality of death, is going to happen. This is where we've been getting yellow cards, yellow card, yellow card. Now we're at a red card. Bang, stop. Sorry, we're not going anywhere else. This is it. This is the extreme karmic days. The day-to-day life, the time, computers, things are going to get disrupted. Things are just going to get a little bit cray-cray. Back up your computers. This is where we're going to see where back in 2007, the Great Recession, mortgage collapses. Full moon Virgo reality check. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants this. And it's worse with Saturn. Fuck Saturn. In Neptune. Right? And we had in 2007 was an opposition of Saturn and Neptune. Now the two buggers are coming together and Neptune's the leader. So we are coming into this change, these energies that are going to fuck with people. And some people are going to be feeling extremely alone and trying to find connections. And sometimes they're going to find connections where they shouldn't be finding connections, when the one connection that they should be finding is the connection with God. And coming to put an ending and take out the illusion. That's why there's just so much coming out, so much boom, 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 boom. And you have to come into the quiet. You have to come into the stillness. You have to come into the grounding. This is where also with this is that the gambling, where people are going to be gambling on certain things. A lot of people have stocks in building arms like guns and bombs and other things like that. And this is war stuff coming in big time. Whoa, big wartime stuff. And where if you get too funky and if you get too attached and you're not working on the soul stuff and you're just hung up on the ego stuff of what's being played before you, then you're going to find that you're going to find a lot of anxiety, a lot of more disruptions than usual. Disruptions are going to happen to everybody. Things are just going to get a little bit topsy turvy with that. It's funny because I had coffee, which I don't know if anybody knows that I love my coffee. Anyways, had coffee this morning, and I didn't realize there were so many dreads in my coffee until I was at the very bottom. Well, maybe me. What do I start doing? I start reading my tea leaves, right? Or not my coffee grounds. You can read coffee grounds too. And the things that were popping up, and I wasn't even thinking about anything particular. I was just finishing off, and the bottom of my cup. I don't think I'm right. Hold on. Anyways, I'll show you. The bottom of this cup, what had little speckles all over the place. Now, we're going to do just a quick tea leaf reading. So when you read tea leaves, you hold this is away from you because that's where you're starting from. So you're starting and you go clockwise, right? So you turn it around and go clockwise and allow for the energies or the information to come up, right? So as you're looking at it and you pull it up to your face and you squint, right? And the images will change and stuff. Where I saw like there's a huge all along the edges was like mountain ranges and holding, and then this kind of like I'm going to call it a UFO popped out of my cup, and I went, "Whoa!" So something out of the mountains is going to show up. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. So something out of the mountains is going to show up. Hey, Lexi. And then from there, I started to really look into it and look into things deeper. And there was an eye, beautiful face came in. And then these beautiful energies of deer. Now, deer represents family. So things around family and the energies around family and closeness around family, because there's like a lot of different faces that showed up with that. And all the speckles all over the place. So a lot of speckles on there. That means that there's going to be something as you look into it. I didn't do it for too long, but I could see there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to be coming up. Usually a full circle around is usually about a year on a proximity. Anything that's up above means that it's coming to fruition and could be, and also money coming in as well. So there you go. There's more things to do with, a tea leaf reading, but that's just sort of skimming the top skimming the top of doing a tea leaf reading. Or even if you get coffee grounds and stuff like that, or the grounds if you get coffee and there's grounds that float to the top, that usually means there's something coming to you, there's money coming to you, there's, um, uh, you know, little things like that. I My grandmother taught me how to do tea leaf readings and stuff, so that was my first form of divination, um, that I ever did, and, tea leaf readings and coffee readings are extremely, um, I'm gonna say they're accurate. They're not like a tarot reading, they're not like any other type of reading. They're really coming to a 3D. Same if you do any scrying. Totally going off topic here, but scrying. So doing any scrying, when I've done scrying, I've seen a lot of things. I saw my mother's death when I was scrying. I saw where the three of my three elder ones, brother and sister, sort of standing at the front of the church, and I didn't realize it was the church, but and then a coffin. And then when I was at church and I saw this, they were in front and I was in the second pew. And as they stood up, and I went, whoa, that's the exact image I saw when I was scrying. So scrying can bring in a lot of information for you as well. Very, very crazy. But here, going back to the astrology, where we are coming into the extreme karmic days. So day to day life is going to start changing up for us. And we're going to find that I'm not saying that the world's getting turned upside down and you're not going to have your home or things like that. But a lot of things that people are attached to are going to come to an end. I know a few years ago, I mentioned to people about buying houses and being very careful about the houses that you're buying. And because of the way the market is and the volatility of the market and the way the banks are. And there's going to be where there's going to be an extreme push, or when it comes to homeowners. And if you haven't owned your home for quite a number of years, or your land for a number of years, you're going to find there's going to be this and I got this squish coming in that's going to try and squish people out. That's the word that they're telling me to use. So squishing people out because of how things are going to be changing. But then again, that brings us back to revolutionary times. Revolution can be meaning in many different forms. um, and a lot of this has to do with technology. So a lot of things coming in about technology and the changes within technology as well. So we're at this fork, and changes that are going to be happening, and it changes especially when it's happening over the Americas. So when we see an eclipse like that, like the one that happened in Texas, X marks the spot. So a lot of craziness happening in Texas, the changes in Texas. We saw the Democrat member of Congress, shaking, getting mad at Trump during his talk. So changes in Texas, there's things happening. Now we have the eclipse. When the eclipse is over the Americas, there's going to be dramatic change over the Americas. And what that change is going to be and what it's going to look like, we don't know, because Uranus is unexpected, but Uranus always changes things for our highest good. It just got off of the 23 degrees of being in shadow onto 24 degrees. So we have these changes that are coming in. And this is where, and especially Pisces, and anybody who's Piscean will tell you that life is never what they expected, right? Life doesn't sustain the way we want it to. Anything, if you got a lot of stuff in the 12th house, life isn't the way that you think it should be, or the way you learn to adapt, you learn to move. It's the 12th house. 12th house has secrets. 12th house is karmic house. That's what the Piscean house is. So don't even go, things don't even go the way that you want it to go. So if you're thinking you're doing something in a certain way, and I saw it, with my job that ended at the end of February, I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let it go. I got to let it go. I just have to be in the moment and allow spirit to guide me in whatever way it needs to guide me. But I may not be able to hear everything fully, because I got Venus retrograde and I'm going to have Mercury retrograde. And this has to go back, and they all have to go back to Pisces. So we have that. And then we have Mercury in a semi square to Uranus. So this is where this is going to fry us off our ego this week and going into Sunday. The divine plans, they're the divine plans. Divine plans are about love. Divine plans come to us and give us direction, but we have to surrender it, and surrender and come into that selflessness of what Virgo is, of service. And that's fucking hard, right? This is where you got to trust God has something on the other side. You don't trust the world. You can't trust what's going on right now. It's a fucking mess, and it's just going to get crazier. So trying to control this is just going to blow up. Trying to, I love watching it. I love watching all the stuff that's going on, and people freaking out over Carney and Pierre Polyette, and then people like, "Ooh, Trump, bad, bad. Now look what he's doing." People like, "Oh my God, the stock market." I'm just like, guys, got to take a chill pill. Craziness. Trying to be objective with what's happening over in Europe and in England and in Ireland is like, whoa. It's like, same here. Trying to be objective with what's going on here, right? and not get upset about it. It's one of those things. So it's wishy-washy energy and reality and not going to work as it did. So you got to disconnect from whatever is upsetting you or be surprised. You got to just lag out. Different routes. This is GPS ain't going to work. GPS isn't going to work. I always find it funny that people don't know how to use maps. I don't know. If you remember, if you ever had the big yellow pages, well, yeah, or yellow pages, or even the phone book. At the front of the phone book, even in Penticton, because it wasn't a big phone book, but at the front of the phone book had the different areas and even had a map of Penticton at the front of the phone book. So if you had to try and find something, or the coordinates is D2, so you got to go find D and 2. Okay, that's where that is, and trying to work a map, right? Maybe it's a good thing to bring out some maps because GPS isn't going to work. Remembering the directions of where you're going and the guidance with all of this. And the sun is going to slow down because we're heading into spring. And so it's going to go to less than 1 degree per day because spring is coming. And Venus, and this is Venus coming to the end too. This is why you're seeing a lot of things to do with men can't be in women's sports because Venus can't be a man. Venus is Venus. Mars can't be a woman. Mars is who he is. Same with Mercury. Mercury can't. Mercury is who Mercury is, right? And so that's why a lot of things are changing and are ending, and that has to do with Venus, going back into Aries, the ego, everything else, and she doesn't like it, but she goes back into Pisces to get a more clarity. And Mercury's there. Mercury doesn't really like, he's not going to get everything, the information. It's when they start really going forward again, and that's not for a few months that we start. It's like, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, that's why this is going on. Oh, okay. Right. I think one of the reasons why I ended up coming back to Calgary was the biggest spiritual transformation of my life. And really connecting spiritually where I couldn't do that in Penticton. It's my hometown. People thought I was crazy. The first time I started doing readings, people called my dad, and my dad had to unplug his phone because everybody in town was calling him and saying, "Your daughter's becoming a Satanist. This is what she's doing." It was crazy. Then I get a call to come over for tea the next day. When your dad calls you, Mary June, why don't you come over and have you and Steve come over and have tea? Come over and have tea. Bring the kids. It'll be okay. Okay, something's up. When your dad's, but he used my whole name. So, and when your dad uses your whole name, that's something's up. So when my whole name is Mary June Arlene, and my dad, and then my dad, who's a Leo, calls you calmly. Hey, Mary June Arlene, how are you doing? What did I do? And here I'm a mother of 4 kids, and I'm freaking out because my dad's calling my full name. Shit's gonna hit the fan, or you feel that way. And it wasn't. It was just that he wanted an explanation of what was going on. And going from there, and very supportive with what I was doing because I'm always doing things with love and light. And going back to that journey, going back to that change, anyways, off topic again, but bringing my change to here where I met Heather, and I studied more of the Huna and Deepak Chopra and Byron Katie, and all of this in my downloads that I got about doing Journey Club. So much of that wouldn't have happened if I didn't move here. Finding and really getting more into my astrology wouldn't have happened if I didn't move here. And really cultivating that that learning, and I'm still learning. I love learning about astrology. I love learning more about the Bible. I do. It's just like there's just so much there. Old Testament is just gnarly shit, man. They were really crazy back then. They're crazy now. But then I can see sort of okay, I look above, I see and I watch, I'm like, oh, I can see all of these things at play. And where you have to be, where you just have to do like Saint Teresa of Lisieux, it's like you just do it moment by moment. Don't try and overdo things, right? Same with Saint Teresa of Avila. There's a lot of Saint Teresas. Saint Teresa of Avila, you got to go in, you got to start at the basement. You got to start at the base and have your connections there and move from there, right? And go up. And if anybody wants, it's the Entering the Castle by Caroline Myers with Saint Teresa of Avila. I mean, there's so much good nuggets in there. I'm rereading it, and it's like, holy shit, I didn't get that the first time. Well, I wasn't prepared to get it all at that time, older and wiser, shall I say. Anyways, but be prepared, people. Let things go. We have Saturn in a septile. That's the other thing. The world beyond aliens. Uh, Saturn in a septile, which is fucking gnarly. It's like 55 degrees to Pluto. Whew, this is not about comfort endings. This is bumpiness. This is where people could be without things. This is where you won't, people are complaining right now. Should I buy this oil or should I buy this oil? I want to eat well. This is where a lot of things are coming to an end. And Pluto dispositing Uranus, endings. Everything on the astrology is pointing to endings. And things are ending. They're no longer the world. I mean, the world's not the same from 2019. I gave you that prediction. I'm giving you another one. I'm going to come in with more things on how to deal with this, and one of the things is the 21-day journey that I have. I have 19 days recorded now. The 21-day journey. If you're interested, you can start at any time. It's $88 for everything. This is where it's like coming into this, and if we want to go on and continue on this journey of prayer and meditation, and finding some guidance. I always find it's really good to have something or someone to help to guide you when it comes to these things. Because I always say, if I don't have that guidance, then I'm not going to do it. And challenging you. Now, I challenge people, go sit in a Buddhist temple. Go find a Catholic church and go sit in a Catholic church. Go find a Protestant church. Go find a sacred site in your town. I have to call the United Church and to go on the Labyrinth Walk. So if there's a Labyrinth Walk in your area, go on a Labyrinth Walk. Find something, a challenge, something different that you haven't done before or you haven't done in a long time. Okay. This is just going crazy. All right. You think you're going to go in a certain direction. The Three of Wands. I'm going there. Maybe not. Maybe not. You might be turned around and going into a different place than where you thought. You think you're looking out at the horizon. Your passion is saying that's where I'm going to go. Yet here comes, it's like, nope, you're going over this cliff over here. You're not going over there. That was too easy. And it's going to come in fast and furious because here comes the Knight of Wands. Things are going to move. There's information there that's very wise. Wise information comes in, but you are like, here I go. The feet are off the ground. I'm ready to go. I am going to take that leap. So I'm taking the leap, and the leap is something I don't really know, but I'm going to trust because there is wisdom that comes in. The three pyramids are there. There is wisdom. There's fire, there's passion, there's understanding. It's something that is sort of burning inside of you to take that leap. And with it, the Lover card. Lover card comes in knowing that, trusting, like knowing if you are in, if you have to question any relationship in your life right now, don't be in it. Basically it. This is where the Lover card comes in with the knowledge of saying, yeah, trust. There's a higher power that's coming in, giving you so that you are able to be vulnerable. There is the, I'm going to call it like another pyramid behind, but there is that knowledge. There is the healing of the serpent. There is the passion to go through. So allowing for that to happen, right? And allowing for that to go forward. It's not easy. And nobody says it is easy. This is us going through, say you're going into a new country and all of a sudden you got to set up house and you got to learn the language and you got to learn the new ways of doing things and try and get a part of the culture, like integrate a part of it. It's not an easy thing, right? And this is what we're getting uncomfortable. We're getting really uncomfortable. So, and trusting in that, and trusting that we are being led by a higher power. It's there. There you guys go. Have a blessed one, everybody. And we will talk to you later. Bye.